Imagine this: a woman is living with her husband. She talks to him every day. She loves him. She laughs with him. But one day she finds out something shocking. Her husband actually died a long time ago. So then the question is, who is the man living with her? Welcome, dear guys. Let's find out the truth. The story begins with a girl named Annabelle. Friends, the time is 1918, when the First World War is about to end. Annabelle's brother has gone to France to fight in the war. Every single day, Annabelle waits for him. She keeps hoping that one day he will return. One day, Annabelle receives a letter from her brother. In the letter, he writes that the war will end soon and that they will come back very soon. Reading this, Annabelle feels happy and hopeful again. But at the same time, we are shown the reality. During the war, Frederick, Annabelle's brother, is shot in the leg. He is badly injured and left behind on the battlefield. Back home, Annabelle goes to the train station, believing that Frederick will return on today's train. She waits and waits, but he does not come. The train leaves, and Frederick is still not there. Annabelle becomes very sad. Seeing her upset, a soldier named Samuel talks to her. He tells her that many injured soldiers are not coming today and will return after a few days. Hearing this, Annabelle feels a little relief. She starts believing that her brother will come back soon. Samuel also helps an old woman who is waiting for her son at the station. Her son has not returned either. Samuel tells her not to worry because her son's name is not on the casualty list. Friends, this list is put up at the station every day, and it has the names of soldiers who have died in the war. Annabelle notices Samuel from a distance and then goes back home. At home, Annabelle's father Michael is very sick. Most of the time, he stays in bed. There are 3 servants in the house who manage everything. Their names are Ben, Ruth, and Mary. Annabelle goes to her father and says, "Father, my brother still didn't come today." Michael calmly replies, "That's okay. Go to the station again tomorrow. Be patient. Wait." Annabelle becomes emotional and says, "You sent my brother to war because of your pride and honor. You could have stopped him. Frederick went only because he wanted your respect. He wanted to be a good son in your eyes." Friends, Michael is a very patriotic and strict man. He believes deeply in serving the country. That is why he allowed his son to go to war. Even now, he strongly believes that Frederick will return safely. But Annabelle is different. She is scared for her brother. Deep inside, she has almost lost hope. That is why she goes to church to pray. At the church, Samuel is also present. When he sees Annabelle, he recognizes her and says, "We met at the train station, right? I remember you." He introduces himself again, and Annabelle tells him her name. From the way Samuel speaks, Annabelle realizes that he is American. Samuel explains, "I'm actually from England, but I live in America. I came here on leave before going to war. My mother lives here. She took me to America just a few days after I was born." Friends, remember this. During World War I, America and England were on the same side. That is why Samuel is also going to fight the war for England. Then Samuel asks Annabelle, "Were you waiting for your fiancé at the station?" Annabelle smiles softly and replies, "No, I was waiting for my brother. I don't have a fiancé." After this, Annabelle goes back home. The next morning, Mary brings her some flowers. Samuel has sent them for Annabelle. Annabelle asks Mary, "Did the man who brought these flowers go away?" Mary says, "Yes, I think he has already left." Annabelle goes outside to look for him, but Samuel is gone. Instead, she meets Ben. Ben gives her a postcard sent by Frederick, her brother. Frederick has written this letter from prison. He has been captured by the enemy and is being treated very badly. We are shown Frederick. He is hurt and walks with a limp because his leg was injured by a bullet. Even in prison, he is forced to work. He is allowed to send only 1 letter in a month. That is the rule there. After reading the letter, Annabelle feels very sad. Still, she feels a little relief knowing that her brother is alive. But she knows that if her father Michael finds out how much Frederick is suffering because of his strict beliefs, he will not be able to handle it. So Annabelle tells Ben, "Please don't tell father about this." A few days later, Annabelle learns that almost all the men in England have gone to war. Because of this, women have started working in the fields. Annabelle also wants to help her country by doing this work, but Michael does not allow her to go. This makes Annabelle very upset. Ruth then tells her, "By tomorrow morning, your father will forget what he said. If you want, you can go." Michael is old and often forgets things. Understanding this, Annabelle decides to go work in the fields. There she meets Samuel again. He is passing by and helps her with the work. They talk and spend time together. After the work is done, they go to a bar. At the bar, they order drinks for each other. The bartender gives a drink to Annabelle but refuses to serve Samuel. The people there start saying that all the young men are fighting in the war, while Samuel is enjoying himself here. Seeing Samuel with Annabelle, they accuse him of having fun with a woman, while others are risking their lives in the war. Because of this, Samuel gets into a fight with one of the men and beats him badly. After this incident, Annabelle tells Samuel that they should not meet again because people will start thinking badly about them. But Samuel says, "I can't stay away from you. At that moment, he tells her that he loves her and tries to kiss her. But Annabelle does not say anything and quietly walks away. After this, we see Annabelle's father slowly getting out of his bed and walking with great effort. As he moves through the house, his eyes fall on a postcard. It is the same postcard Frederick had sent from prison. When Michael reads it, he finally understands the truth. His son is alive but locked away in an enemy prison. The realization is too much for him. The shock overwhelms his weak body, and he dies of a heart attack. Annabelle is completely broken by her father's death. Soon after, Michael's funeral is held. When Samuel hears the news, he comes to see Annabelle. He gently tells her how sorry he is and asks her to remember her father with peace, not tears. He says her father would never want to see her suffer. In his quiet way, Samuel comforts Annabelle, even dancing with her to lift her spirit. After that, Annabelle and Samuel begin meeting every day. Annabelle finally thanks him for the flowers he once sent. She takes him to her treehouse, a place filled with her childhood memories and old toys. There, Samuel once again tells her how he feels. This time, Annabelle does not turn him away. They kiss, and their closeness grows deeper. Still, fear lives in Annabelle's heart. She tells Samuel she is scared he will go to war and never return, just like her brother. Samuel listens and then says something meaningful. He tells her that he needs a reason to come back from the war. He needs someone waiting for him. He has no family of his own, and before leaving, he wants to marry her. He asks Annabelle to be his wife. Annabelle is filled with happiness, and the two marry soon after. Only a few days remain before Samuel's leave ends, so he spends every moment he can with Annabelle. They live together in her house. Samuel also meets Ruth, Ben, and Mary. Now that they are husband and wife, nothing stands in their way. They build a small, peaceful world together, one Annabelle is terrified of losing. One night, while Samuel is asleep, Annabelle has a frightening dream. In it, Samuel goes to war and never returns. She wakes up in fear. Samuel comforts her, telling her nothing bad will happen. Annabelle admits she doesn't want him to go. What if he never comes back? Samuel promises her that he will return. He tells her not to worry, saying the war is almost over. He says he will wait to come back to her just as eagerly as she will wait for him. These words calm Annabelle, even if only a little. Soon the day comes when Samuel must leave. His train is delayed, and the two of them run together to the station. At the last moment, Samuel manages to get on the train. There is no proper goodbye, no final embrace, just one last look. With heavy hearts, they part. After Samuel leaves, Annabelle spends her days holding on to memories, replaying every moment they shared, and waiting for the promise he left behind. Meanwhile, we are shown Samuel in France. He is right in the middle of the battlefield. Suddenly, heavy gunfire and explosions begin all around. Bullets fly everywhere. Samuel somehow survives the attack and even tries to save a wounded soldier lying nearby. He drags the injured man away, trying his best to help him. At the same time, far away from the battlefield, Annabelle once again has a terrible dream. In the dream, something bad happens to Samuel. She wakes up in fear. After this, Annabelle slowly becomes quiet and sad. She spends all her time thinking about Samuel. Day and night, he is the only thing on her mind. She even stops coming out of her room. Then one day, Annabelle's long waiting finally ends. While she is crying, she hears a voice close to her ear saying, "Can you hear me?" Annabelle wakes up in shock. When she opens her eyes and sees Samuel beside her, she cannot believe it. She is overwhelmed with happiness. She asks him, "When did you come back?" Samuel replies, "I don't know how I came here. I don't know when I arrived." After this, the two grow close again. Later, Samuel tells Annabelle that his memory feels unclear. He says he does not remember how he reached her. Annabelle gently tells him to rest and says everything will come back in time. She asks him what the last thing he remembers is. Samuel says that they were moving forward in the middle of enemy fire. One of his fellow soldiers was shot, and Samuel tried to save him. He dragged him behind a rock, but the man died there. After that moment, everything went dark. He does not remember what happened next. He only knows one thing, that he wanted to come back to Annabelle. Annabelle and Samuel are happy to be together again. They return to their small world, where nothing matters except each other and their love. But strange things begin to happen. Ben's dog starts acting oddly. It becomes restless and uneasy. Ben notices this and asks Ruth why Annabelle has stopped coming downstairs. Ruth explains that Annabelle is carrying a lot of pain. Her brother is trapped in an enemy prison. She recently lost her father, and now her husband has gone to war. Ruth asks Ben not to disturb her and not to talk to her about the war. She says Annabelle came out to the garden earlier and will slowly be fine. Even after this, Ben feels uneasy. His dog's strange behavior worries him. One day, Ben sees Annabelle talking to someone, but no one else is there. This frightens him deeply. He goes straight to the church and asks the priest, "If someone has died, can they come back?" The priest answers, "If someone has an unfinished desire, then yes, they can return. And the people they love the most can sometimes see them." Friends, this clearly points towards Samuel. Whether he is alive or dead will be revealed later. But if Samuel has already died, then how is he still with Annabelle? That night, Annabelle and Samuel eat dinner together. The next morning, when Mary comes to clean the dishes, she notices something strange. There are signs that more than one person ate dinner. Mary goes to Ruth and Ben and tells them that someone else must have been with Annabelle last night. She says she did not see anyone, but Annabelle clearly had dinner with someone. Slowly, Mary starts believing that Samuel has returned secretly. She thinks he is a soldier who ran away from the war and is now hiding in Annabelle's house. Ruth warns her not to spread foolish ideas and tells her to focus on her work, but Mary cannot keep quiet. She goes into the village and tells people that Annabelle is hiding a deserter. Very quickly, the rumor spreads everywhere. People start believing that Annabelle is protecting a runaway soldier. Around the same time, Samuel looks at himself in a mirror and sees nothing. His reflection is missing. In that moment, he understands the truth. He is no longer alive. He did not return as a living man. He returned as a spirit. He was not a deserter at all. He had died during the war. Samuel wants to tell Annabelle the truth, but Annabelle has gone to see a doctor. When she returns, she is filled with joy. She tells Samuel that she is going to have a baby. Samuel is overjoyed when he hears this. Friends, this had happened before Samuel left for war, so there is nothing supernatural about it. Still, Samuel now fully understands his situation. While Annabelle was away, he tried to speak to Mary and Ruth, but they could neither see him nor hear his voice. This confirms that only Annabelle can sense him. The next morning, several army officers arrive at Annabelle's house. Some local men come with them. They have come to check whether Annabelle is hiding a deserter, because during wartime, running away from the army is punished by death. Ruth tries to stop the officers from entering. Inside the house, Annabelle tells Samuel that the war has ended. She shows him the news in the newspaper. As Samuel reads it, memories suddenly return to him. We are shown what really happened. After trying to save his wounded companion, Samuel stood up, and a bullet struck him directly in the heart. In that moment, Samuel knew he was dying. As his life faded away, Samuel prayed to God. He asked for one last thing, to keep the promise he made to Annabelle. He wanted to see her again. He wanted to spend a little more time with her. Because of this deep promise, his spirit was allowed to return to her. Now Samuel understands that his time is over. Just as an army officer starts walking toward Annabelle's room, Annabelle steps forward and tells them there is no deserter hiding in the house. At that same moment, a telegram arrives from the war office. Annabelle reads it and breaks down. The telegram confirms that Samuel died in battle. Annabelle runs back to her room to find him, but Samuel is gone. Only then does Annabelle fully understand the truth. She had been living with Samuel's spirit all this time. Even after death, he returned to keep his promise. Overwhelmed, Annabelle runs into the forest and collapses. Later, Ben finds her and brings her back home. He gently tells her that Samuel stayed with her like an angel, and now his journey is complete. When Annabelle asks Ben if he already knew, Ben says he had seen her speaking to someone who was not there. He understood that something was wrong, but chose not to interfere. He tells her not to worry. Everything will be all right. The officers who came looking for Samuel finally leave the house. The villagers who were calling him a deserter also go away. Annabelle is angry and scolds Mary, asking why she spread such useless and harmful rumors in the village. Mary feels ashamed and sincerely apologizes to Annabelle. Later, Ben is helping Annabelle walk back toward the house when they suddenly see a soldier approaching. He is limping and looks weak. As he comes closer, Annabelle's eyes fill with joy. It is her brother Frederick. He has finally returned home, free from the enemy country after the war has ended. Annabelle runs to him and hugs him tightly. Everyone in the house is happy to see Frederick back alive. But even after this happy moment, Annabelle's heart is not at peace. She still remembers Samuel every day. She remains weak and unwell, unable to forget him. The memory of Samuel and everything that happened still stays in her mind. When Ben tells Frederick about Samuel's spirit and what Annabelle experienced, Frederick finds it hard to believe. He says that none of this makes sense. He says he has spoken to a doctor and plans to take Annabelle for treatment, believing she is unwell because of grief. That night, while Frederick is sleeping, Samuel appears in his dream. Frederick has never even seen Samuel's picture before, yet he clearly recognizes him. In the dream, Samuel speaks to Frederick. He asks him to take care of Annabelle. He says that he will always stay close to her. Being with Annabelle matters more to him than peace or salvation. Frederick wakes up in shock. The dream feels real. He immediately goes to Annabelle and tells her everything. He says that Samuel came into his dream and told him that he is always around her. He tells Annabelle that the life Samuel could not live will now be lived through her child. He explains that the pain she feels is not weakness, it is love. A love so strong that it brought Samuel back even after death. He tells her that there is nothing greater than a love that can defeat death. But now for her child, she must slowly start living again. Hearing this, Annabelle breaks down and hugs her brother tightly. 7 years later, we see Annabelle in France with her young daughter. Samuel is still there, not in body, but in spirit. He watches over them. He is happy for Annabelle. He is happy for his child. He kept his promise, even after death. And this is how Annabelle continues her life. With this, the story comes to an end. We'll meet again in the next video. Thank you for watching.